So it's been about a week since Ashes of Creation launched on Steam in early access, and I've put in a little more than 25 hours into it. This isn't a first impressions take. This is a look at where the game actually is right now. So let's talk about it. Anytime a game launches on day one, especially in early access, there are certain things that should not come as a surprise. Login queues, connection hiccups, lag. These aren't signs of failure. They're part of the reality of launching a live service game with real players hitting it all at once. If you expected a flawless day one, your expectations were incredibly unrealistic, and that one's on you. On top of the usual launch stuff, Ashes of Creation ran into some more specific early access problems. Namely, the alpha key holders weren't able to link their Steam accounts because the Ashes of Creation website was actually down for approximately 9 hours. Those alpha key holders who had linked prior to the launch on Steam, they didn't have much of an issue. However, anyone who had waited for launch to link their accounts were unable to do so. Yes, we had character collision in the starting area, which became a real issue fast, a noticeable lack of huntable creatures early on, the unstuck command killing your character, causing you to lose resources and gain XP debt. Oh wait, that's actually intended. There was also no real AFK timer in place, and global chat was, unsurprisingly, flooded with gold seller spam. Look, some of this was expected, and some of it definitely needs fixing. I want to take a quick minute to talk specifically about the queues people experienced on Thursday, because this part gets misunderstood a lot. In Ashes of Creation, queues aren't really about logging into the server. They're about logging into a specific area of the server. In this case, it was everyone trying to log into one of the 2 starting zones. The starting zone areas can only handle X number of players at a time. And if players aren't logging in and then moving out of that starting area, that is what creates queues. We've seen this exact problem before. New World had the same issue where everyone bottlenecked on the starting beach. That turned into hours-long queues at launch. By the time Eternum launched in 2024 with server layering, the problem was pretty much resolved. Once you get past the starting zone, get to a low population area to log out from, and you are unlikely to hit a queue when you try to log back in. This wasn't new. We have seen this exact same movie play out before, time and time again. Where Ashes still needs work is how all of this stacks together. Character collision caused literal log jams. Players would finally load in, but were AFK and just stand there blocking entrances, exits, and the quest NPCs. This also left the players behind them waiting in the queue longer than if those characters had just moved out of the starting area. For those players able to get through and get their quest, they ended up being stuck in the area fighting over the same sickly goblins. And the whole thing kind of turns into a snake eating its own tail, as they also contribute to the players in the queue not able to get in, until finally moving on to the settlement. That said, all things considered, the queues really weren't that bad. My wait into Shoal Thursday night was about 90 minutes. The bigger issue is for brand new players. If you spend 90 minutes waiting to just log in, you're suddenly down to 30 minutes to decide whether or not to refund. That's not a great first impression. And unfortunately, it was predictable. Since Thursday, I personally haven't hit any queues. There have been occasional reports of them popping up, but again, it's usually because people are trying to log into the game into a very populated area, such as a settlement. Pro tip, when you log out alone and in the wilderness. You're unlikely to hit a queue the next time you log in. And look guys, this is where I want to give credit where it's due. The Intrepid team was clearly paying attention and actively responding. They were juggling queues, a website outage, in-game issues, and communication stayed consistent without becoming overwhelming. Discord updates were frequent but not spammy, and in-game messaging was solid. They also opened an additional realm on Saturday night in North America. And that move actually tells me a lot. Instead of overreacting and spinning up a ton of realms that would eventually become empty and require merges, they took a measured approach to match the actual demand. Will merges still happen eventually? Probably. But if that's 1 or 2 realms instead of 25, that's a win in my book. Measured response beats panic launches every time. So how does the game actually feel? From levels 1 through 6, honestly, pretty good. The starting quest line does a decent job introducing systems as you go. The tip boxes are a lot to read, and I really wish the text size was adjustable. But I do appreciate how easy they are to revisit in the UI. The quests take you out of the starter area to the surrounding areas, lets you see some of the sights in the biome, and gives you a taste of how actually immense the game world is. You spawn into the world with your mount in your items now, so you can mount up and gallop off right away if you know where you're going. The destiny system is the standout here. Having clear goals tied to tangible rewards, which includes a solid starter gear set, makes early progression feel purposeful and directed instead of aimless. Once you hit level 7 and 8 though, the experience shifts. It starts to feel much more like a grind. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Some players genuinely enjoy that style of gameplay, but it's definitely not for everyone. The Destiny system does carry you to level 10 with 2 main achievements: reaching level 10 itself and becoming a citizen of a settlement. As it turns out, citizenship in a settlement requires you to be level 10. And that's yet another little tidbit requirement that isn't actually explained in the game. Once you get past that point, the guidance and rewards just kind of stop. And honestly, the Destiny system, those are the training wheels for Ashes of Creation. And now the training wheels come off. So what am I doing after level 10? For me, the answer is sport fishing. I've already got buckets of chum, but I still need a mule and a rowboat. So those are my current goals. More broadly, the main draw of Ashes of Creation for me has always been the node and settlement system. The idea that player actions or inactions can help shape the game world. That's what I enjoyed about Invasion Defenses in New World. Even as a non-PvP player, I could still influence events and outcomes that shape and impacted the broader experience. Ashes promises even more opportunities for that kind of impact. And that's what I'll be exploring next. There are pocket dungeons, biomes, and a new event type in the Harbinger system that have also been brought online. There is actually a lot to do, but these need to be actively sought out and will not be so neatly presented to you as they have been in the early game. There is hope that the Destiny system is expanded further, as it has truly provided a much-needed framework for the early levels. As for level 25, guys, I'm not chasing it. If it happens naturally, great. I'm not going to be losing any sleep over it. I'm here for systems, not a level race. I think most Steam players are going to hit level 10 and then step away until the next major system or content update. Grinding can be rewarding, but it hits differently when you know there's eventually going to be a wipe. That said, the progress Ashes of Creation has made in Alpha 2 alone is substantial. Compared to where it was before last November to now, there is real movement forward. But compared to fully released games, it's still lacking depth, context, and interconnected systems that meaningfully impact gameplay. Hunting and AFK fishing are just two of those systems. And that's just the reality of where it is right now. Progress? Absolutely. Finished? Not even close. If you've tried Ashes of Creation, I'd love to hear your experience. What worked, what didn't, and what issues you ran into. And if you haven't tried it yet, is this early access something you jump into eventually? Or is this going to be a full pass until the actual V1 release? I'm genuinely curious where you have landed on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, gently press that subscribe button. We've been smashing it a little too hard lately. Especially if you want to catch the fishing video once I get my rowboat and my mule. Until then, good luck, have fun, and kill 'em all.